So there's a lot going on that made this video happen. We had an update very recently that made the plasmatic discharger no longer the smasher killer that it always was, and the Deciblaster came around and it's a very strong weapon. I felt like, hey, if you're struggling with mini bosses or smashers, this is a fun and very interesting weapon with a lot of elemental options that could be a good pick. However, I decided to make an entire video with that as my primary loadout. So I showed that weapon with Demo Penny in the lead, totally rocking out, and it was crushing. So in this video, I thought I would go the way of my new potshot video, link to that down below, where I use the newly buffed, I think, Vindertech Disintegrator and the potshot as a sidearm. And today we're going to be doing something very similar. I am going to be using the Vindertech Burster. This is a burst pistol that got a slight damage decrease, but a higher fire rate, a tighter spread, so it's going to be more accurate, and a new 6th perk option. Now, I am going to say it right now, I assume Affliction is the better choice for this weapon, but they did fix the damage dealt to enemies below 50% health, will immediately eliminate them, and I want to try that. Basically, all you have to do is 85% of their health, and then they're just dead with that next shot. And that sounds interesting. And damage to mismonsters and bosses feels a little pointless. I'm not really sure what to put here because the 6th perk doesn't affect mismonsters and bosses, and in today's showcase, my sidearm is going to be the Deciblaster. Anytime we go up against a smasher or a mini boss, I'm going to use the Deciblaster. So I guess I just answered my own question. The Burster will be going up against blasters and takers, and then anytime we see anything bigger than those, we'll pull out the Deciblaster without a full loadout behind it to demonstrate how good this is. Now, the full loadout is going to be very similar. Demo Penny is still present. I put her in support, just like that potshot video, except that instead of the lead, she's in support. So 33% less health there. Then in the commander slot, we're using Beetlejuice, who is going to be making our pistol do a big crit damage. Totally rocking out, because it's awesome to crit more. Battle Beaten Subwoofer just to activate it more consistently. This, by the way, is basically my soldier loadout video. Link to that down below. The only difference, seriously, is that we're using Beetlejuice instead of Sledgehammer, and we're using Ranger Deadeye instead of Rescue Trooper Ramirez. Otherwise, this build is completely identical. So if you're a new player trying to boost pistols for some reason, hey, you're having fun with the spice, then it's the same exact video. Every other hero is identical. And in the very specific mission that I'm recording in, it's a fire and acid pools mission, and I have been getting crushed. So I'm actually using Prehistoric Iza just to keep me alive. There aren't that many damage bonuses left. We could use Rex Jonesy for a little bit of extra. That soldier video covers a lot. We could use explosive rounds from Wukong, maybe get a bit of extra, area of effect, but my sidearm is a launcher, so no trouble there. I think this build will be just fine. So yeah, a burst pistol Deciblaster showcase just to demonstrate how good the launcher is without Demo Penny in the lead. All right, so full disclosure, I haven't used the Burster in... Wow, okay, good first impression. I haven't used the Burster in, like, forever, but that's kind of shredding, actually. I'm digging it. Oh my god, I went to reload, and then I realized it had more ammo. So that's a major thing. This weapon has a ton of ammo. I'm running it with a mag size perk instead of reload, and it's got 42 rounds, and you can see when they get to that low health range, they just die. And you can see why I need that survivability, popping my adrenaline rush. These enemies are crazy, and this is what I'm talking about. I really feel like Affliction is just better here. The 6th perk that they added, the 15%, is only happening when they have, 15% less. So, in my opinion, Affliction would be even better, because you could just, tag an enemy like that, and they would just die without you interfering. And that... Oh, hello. Wow. Yeah. And that is such a major change that I really... I want to encourage the update. They gave us this new 6th perk option for these weapons, but... I really don't think it's the right choice. I probably should have crafted 2 copies, messed with this for a little bit, and then switched over. So the fact that we're dealing with a nerfed Burster compared to like what it otherwise would be, like he'd be dead, I don't know. Feels like it's performing really well, but I'm not going to lie. I want to abandon the 6th perk right away. I think I'm going to load out of this mission, craft an Affliction copy, and go back to that. Because on an enemy like this, you get situations like that. Like, okay, I didn't have to shoot him again, but... Affliction really would have done the same thing, and I feel like that is the recommended option, and seeing as this very well might be, look, you'd be dead right now, the only time I ever showcase this pistol, I really want to do it right, so let's go grab an Affliction copy and come on back. Alright, I am back in game with a correct copy. This does 2 major things. First off, Affliction, it has all the benefits that I've already talked about, and also the damage to Affliction 5th perk is going to allow me to do extra damage to afflicted targets, and that damage bonus is going to be universal across all enemies rather than just being a miss monster, and I feel like that's going to go a long way, especially with a burst. I'm going to hit him once, and then the next 2 shots are going to do 45% more each. That's a pretty good deal. So I've told this story before, but I always, back when I was new to the game, would run with a rocket launcher, and situations like this are exactly why. You take out the enemy that's being a problem, and then you switch back to your primary weapon, and that is... Oh, hello, Smash. We'll get to you in a second. This is what I'm talking about with Affliction. You hit multiple targets, and then they just fade away while you move on to a different target. Yeah, so he's basically dead. And then the Smasher with the Deciblaster, very gimmicky, requires a little bit of setup. Let's reload that real quick, and then get it going. Yeah. That's pretty effective. I wasn't planning on saving a survivor, but I'll take it. All right, the mission begins. So much like my other Deciblaster video, we've got 1 tile high gas traps and more tar traps than I would normally recommend, simply because when smashers are stopped in their tracks, I want them to be able to get taken care of, and normal enemies are gonna go down super easy. The burster isn't exactly a fantastic crowd clearing weapon, but it actually does a really decent job. This is a cool weapon. I like it a lot. You guys know I like high precision weapons, and okay, I'm missing every single shot, but yeah, this is kind of a good showcase of why you don't want to use it versus smashers. Yeah, I really like high precision weapons, and it's so satisfying. Here's a smasher coming in. Toy Rockin' Out is active, but that is some... actually a lot less damage than I would have expected. Okay. I wasn't eating a wafer beforehand, but all right, here. Let's, okay, that was Battle Beat, but let's do it right there. The impact does sometimes get in the way, but let's demonstrate kind of what I'm talking about. So the Burster, not exactly a smasher killer. I just watched Battle Beat activate my team perk there, and it's not crazy effective. Took a lot to get halfway. Deciblaster cleans it up almost no problem. That was 1 shot, half its health, pretty effective. And the Burster, let's see here. Honestly, versus everything but a smasher, I'm digging it. And I did ask my teammates to let me have these smashers. Again, that's why we have the tar pits. Pretty effective. Like, that was pretty good. I don't know what that symbol is. I might have misclicked something. I don't really know, but I'm gonna leave it because I think it's funny. And let's just wait for him to get in here. Eat the wafer. I got 32 of them for a reason. That's your cleanup. Like, that's why I recommend this weapon. If you are someone who's been, you know, missing your plasmatic discharger and you want a strong replacement, it's a little weird to use a weapon that requires the walls like this. You don't need a ceiling, by the way. You can shoot it against the wall if you prefer. Let me back off a little bit and fail to do so anyway, but there we go. That is extremely effective. This build does have Demo Pinion support, but Toy Rockin' Out is a team perk that I recommend using almost by default. It's super good. It's very, very strong. And Dennis Jr. he's accessible, you know, 1 time out of the year throughout the season, but you can voucher him at any point in the rest of the season. And that is where you can get the team perk pretty effectively and consistently, and it's so strong that you're probably going to have it no matter what. And yeah, you can see the crowd clearing, very effective. And this is where pistols struggle. Even a strong weapon like the Burster. Like, I'm saying this is decent. I'm not pretending it's some sleeping S tier pick or anything dramatic like that. But when there are crowds of enemies, it's really hard to deal with that. But hey, look at that precision. There we go. Yeah, all right. That's actually... okay, I was going to go for the... yeah, we got teammates helping the Smasher right here. We're going to shoot him just like that. Knocked him around, lots of impact. Made him not do as much, and it took 3 shots there. 90 energy cells is kind of a lot. I understand the discharger would have taken 30, but that weapon was incredibly overpowered. So I'm trying to market this weapon as an option that is at least fun. Something that you might not have considered using. A lot of people, I fear, barely even know what the Deciblaster is. Maybe they used it once or twice, saw that it did barely anything, and then ruled it off as bad. That's exactly what I did when the weapon came out. But when you realize that it can bounce and bounce and bounce, it's actually really, really nice. And I love pairing... this is what I used to do back in the day. I mentioned it earlier. I used to pair like an SMG or an AR, whatever my primary was at the time, with a bazooka as a sidearm. And that was back when there was no Baron fighting for my attention, getting that movement speed. You just had an extra spot, and I always opted for a rocket launcher because it cleaned up really, really well. You can see, like, you can just shoot it, kill everything next to you, besides the beehive, of course, and then just move on. You get the burster to clean up the rest, and it's a really, really good combo that I love putting together. And I recommend doing that even today. The bazooka or the trash cannon equivalent from the scavenger set, very, very nice. This right here, live example of why you should be eating your wafers, people. I'm saving them for like no good reason. I'm gonna start eating these every time I encounter a higher level enemy than basic ones because they are here. I got like 30 of them, 40 of them, and I am running Beetlejuice in the lead with Toy Rockin' Out. Sometimes I have this weird mentality, oh, that was a misclick, this weird mentality that I should not use my wafers because I'm either saving them or like misrepresenting a weapon with Toy Rockin' Out. I don't know. This is a team perk that you should have. If you're a new player, by the way, no shame. Honestly, vouchers are scarce when you're first starting out, and while Dennis Jr. from a meta standpoint might be like a top recommended first voucher. Look how quick that nurse died from out there. That is difficult to do, by the way. He's usually like a top recommended voucher. You might go for a spicier pick, and I respect that, but he is usually the first one you chance. So my point is, I have the team perk. I'm using it, and not using my wafers is a complete mistake. So a lot of people apparently don't know that you can shoot those lava projectiles out of the air. It's rarely worth it, in my opinion. It takes a lot of your focus to shoot at those projectiles instead of an enemy, and while they do hurt your objectives, normally shooting the enemies, firing them is the most important thing. But yeah, if you have high accuracy and you don't have anti-air traps down, which can take care of those, of course, that is something that you can do. So we have our mini boss. What do we have? Ricochet again. Oh, here we go. The things I do for you guys. I hope my team can like support me here. I did ask them to either, I don't know what I did. I made it very clear that they could either help me with the mini boss so we could get the team kill, or they could let me solo and I can try and illustrate this weapon as well as I can. It does keep bouncing even if I go down, but you can see 3-4 shots of it took it down 75% of the way with a little bit of help from my teammates. The ground pounder is getting used. Highly recommended weapon, by the way, from Shadow there. If you are having a hard time taking care of mini bosses or smashers and you don't want to use launchers, ground pounder, Pop Shot, and Huskbuster. 3 videos linked down below. I just covered them recently on the channel. They are very, very strong weapons that all work very well even without a loadout. So yeah, check them out. They are really, really great. The Huskbuster, at least, is a base game shotgun that you probably have or have encountered and might not even know it. And you could use any of them. Of course, today's showcase is the Deciblaster. But the point that I'm ultimately trying to make is that there are a lot of very viable weapons in this game. Can we kill a take it before take? Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, I got a little unlucky with the crits there, or maybe I'm just using a pistol, but there are a lot of weapons in this game that can take down mist monsters effectively, and, you know, while the Vindertech Burster might not be, like, the top pick, it's kind of an enigma for me, because it's a weapon that's fun, and a high-accuracy burst pistol is cool. I mean, the crits on this thing are very satisfying, but it is just a pistol, and they buffed it. They gave all the Vindertech weapons attention, but they didn't make them, like, super duper strong. I don't really know what they wanted us to do with that. Like, you can see the accuracy on this thing is fantastic. They did reduce the spread, so it is a pistol that's geared more towards range, but it's tricky, right? Like, it's struggling versus the mist monsters, but it's single bursting the things that they're throwing. I don't know what to do with this thing. I don't know if it's a new main weapon of mine. Probably not, but it works. Here, that's solo damage. Like, it's okay. It works. If you like pistols and you wanted to try Spice, or you wanted to just enjoy a weapon that recently got buffed, again, I don't know. Higher fire rate, mag size is pretty high. I don't know if that's new or not, but it's tricky. It's tricky to use this weapon because it works, but pistols are really, really tough to make a good go of it. And are we going to enjoy any smashers last minute? This is a dual showcase, and I don't know. I keep going from impressed to not. It's like if we're critting, it's great. If we're not, it's just a pistol. All right, can we take care of a smasher while he's moving? Because the impact knockback on that is really effective. And yeah, we absolutely can. So Deciblaster. I like this weapon so much, I made 2 videos on it, and I'm timing these videos for the release of this weapon. If you're watching this in the long off future, the timeline is linked in the description down below so that you can hopefully catch it when it comes back around. Do I recommend vouchering it? Probably not, but it is available 1 week out of the year. So if anything you saw was really fun and you wanted to have your own go at it, and you don't have a friend who can craft it for you, and you don't want to ask in the crafting channel in our Discord, link down below, then you can voucher it. It's a pretty strong pick. Thank you guys so much for watching a second video on the Deciblaster. I like these dual showcases because they buffed all these Vindertech weapons, but they're not, like, exciting enough on their own. So side-arming it with the pot shot of the Deciblaster just kind of worked out. I don't know if I'm going to do more of that, but if you're a channel member, you'll be the first to know, because I do release my videos early to channel members, as I like to schedule them out throughout the month so that I don't slam myself with daily uploads. I can't personally keep up with that, and your guys' support has been amazing. If you don't want to become a member, all my videos do go out for free eventually. And so that's it. I'm out of here. Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment what you thought. I'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day. And then